Jean-Baptiste Colbert was born in Reims on August 29, 1619. He was the firstborn of Nicolas Colbert, a cloth merchant from Reims, and Marie Pussard. Although his family claims to be descended from Scottish nobles, there is no proof of this. He studied at a Jesuit college and started his career working for a Paris banker and for the father of the poet Jean Chapelain in 1634. At the age of 20, Colbert went into the service of his great-grandfather, Jean-Baptiste Colbert de Saint-Pouange, first commissioner of the Ministry of War under Louis XIII. In 1640, Colbert's father pawned his future to buy Colbert the post of ordinary war commissioner. This post required him to inspect the troops, which gave him a certain notoriety. In 1645, Saint-Pouange recommended the young Colbert to Michel Le Tellier, his brother-in-law, who worked as the Secretary of State. Le Tellier hired Colbert as his private secretary. On December 13, 1648, Jean-Baptiste Colbert married Marie Charon, daughter of a member of the Royal Council, cousin by marriage to Alexandre Bontemps. Together, they had 9 children. Jeanne-Marie, who married Charles-Honoré d'Albert de Luynes, Jean-Baptiste, Marquis de Seignelay, Jean-Nicolas, the later Archbishop of Rouen, Antoine-Martin, Knight Grand Cross of the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, commander of the Commanderie of Boncourt and Chantereine, Henriette Louise, who married Paul de Beauvilliers, Marquis de Saint-Aignan, Jean-Jules Armand, the Marquis of Blainville, Marie-Anne, who married Louis I, Duc de Mortemar, a nephew of Madame de Montespan, Louis, Count de Linière, guard of the King's Library and military officer, and finally, Charles-Édouard, Count of Sceaux. In 1651, Michel Le Tellier introduced Colbert to Cardinal Mazarin, who hired him to manage his vast personal fortune. Before his death in 1661, Mazarin recommended Colbert to King Louis XIV of France, highlighting his qualities as a dedicated worker. That same year, the king made Colbert a minister of state. Colbert did his utmost to ruin the reputation of Nicolas Fouquet, the superintendant of finances of France, who had amassed a fortune by fraudulent means. Eventually, Fouquet was arrested on the king's orders by D'Artagnan, and Colbert became head of finance. He went on to serve as Secretary of State for the Navy and the royal household. In 1670, Colbert bought the Château of Sceaux in the south of Paris. He turned the domain of Sceaux into one of the most charming places in France, thanks to André Le Nôtre, who designed Sceaux's gardens, and Charles Lebrun, who took charge of all the decoration of both the buildings and the park. As a minister under Louis XIV, Colbert wanted to make France the richest nation in Europe. He favored trade and protected the sciences, literature, and the arts. As Minister of Finance, he wanted to curb the rampant corruption during the reign of Louis XIV, which was exposed with the Fouquet affair. He also directed the payment of pensions within the French state. Due to the immense size of the French state, its budgetary challenges such as the army, pensions for nobles and scholars, and costs involved due to Louis XIV's foreign policies, such as bribes and gifts to foreign ministers, ambassadors, and kings, Colbert had to realize an economic growth in order to guarantee the continuous financial health of the state. Therefore, he decided to copy the products of neighboring countries in order to make France self-sufficient and no money would be lost on importation fees. He did not hesitate to hire foreign workers to start manufacturing wares from those same countries whose products he wanted to copy. Furthermore, the manufacture of items previously produced in the country was started up again, and new ones were added, especially of glass and tapestry. Colbert also supported the production of art intended for the renovation of the royal palaces, among them that of Versailles. In 1668, Colbert was appointed Secretary of State in the king's household. Convinced by Colbert of the importance that trade plays in the economy, The king created the Secretary of State for the Navy in 1669, which office would first be held by Colbert. A fleet of 276 warships was also constructed. Colbert developed the infrastructure for facilitating trade. Canals, royal roads, bridges and ports were engineered. He had roads repaired and connected to the Mediterranean Sea with the Atlantic Ocean through the Languedoc Canal. Colbert was an advocate for French colonial expansion, as colonies and foreign trade would greatly aid to the wealth of the state. He paved and illuminated Paris, beautified the city's docks, public squares, and commissioned the Louvre colonnade and the Tuileries gardens. Jean-Baptiste Colbert died in Paris on September 6, 1683 from kidney stones. He was buried in the Church of Saint-Eustache, where a beautiful tomb designed by Charles Lebrun can be visited. At present, only Colbert's legs remain in the tomb, as the rest of his remains were transferred to the catacombs of Paris in 1787. Thank you for watching.